Dee Gordon, who was on a podcast the other day called The Raw Room. And he essentially said that the league told him to let Bryce Harper win the Triple Crown in 2015. And that because Dee won the batting title that year, MLB brass strung him up under the guise of testing positive for steroids and gave him a bogus suspension. I wanted to read that one verbatim because that's a lot. So there it is. The quote, Dee Gordon on why he got suspended in 2016. MLB told me not to win the batting title. And there is sound too. If you look it up online, you can see all of this. It's not like a fake account. AJ, then Kevin. You guys are the former players.
I'm letting KP go. I'm letting KP
Come
go
on.
first.
People want to know.
No, I was hoping you would go first because I have a tendency to get myself in trouble. So I want you to go first.
Listen, as someone that lives their life in trouble, KP, you get used to it after a while. Trust me, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, but here's my thing. This was 10 years ago almost. Like what? And now we're just hearing about this. Like, is this real? Who answers? Who called him? Rob Manfred? Did he pick up his cell phone and say, hello, Rob? Oh, Rob, you don't want me to win the batting title? So Bryce Harper, was he close? I don't even know. To winning the Triple Crown in 2015? Was he? I don't know. I always liked Dee Gordon. I've known Dee Gordon for a long time. I always thought he was a pretty good guy. I mean, did steroids, got popped. But to say that MLB fake popped him because they told him not to win the batting, like this is one of those things that, did we land on the moon? Did we do this? I mean, who shot JFK? Did Dee Gordon get suspended because he won the batting title? I've never heard anything like this, but I don't know. Prove it. How do we prove this? We can pull cell phone records up? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would say to your point, a lot of things we don't know the entire story about. We call conspiracy. What does he have to gain from this? Like you said, it's been 10 years since this happened for him to kind of, and I know Dee too. I know Dee, I've talked to him as recent as a couple months ago, lives in Florida, does his thing. He has his, he has his crops he grows. What does he have to gain from this? And if the story is true, I want to hear the entirety of the truth. I mean, who made the phone call? What was the conversation like? I mean, if you're going to spill some of it, spill the entire bag.
KP, this is like when you watch those shows on TV where there's like a random person in a room and their cell phone rings. It's block caller, and you're like, hello. And they're like, do not win the batting title or we will get you for steroids. Who is this? Don't worry about it. Just know your family and your career is in jeopardy. What? Wait. Let Bryce Harper win the batting title. Bye. And you're like, wait, what just happened? And the voice is all disguised, right? It's like a TV show. Like, who called him? I want to know. Now I want to know. Who called him?
I need more detail. I need more detail.
AJ, can we get him on?
If you're going to share half the story or a small portion of the story, at this point, he's not trying to be employed by MLB. He's not trying out for a job. I mean, let's just put it all out there, and then we can all make a better determination if we think it actually happened, if it didn't happen. I kind of stay a little bit out of the loop since I retired. I'm not trying to stay off my phone as much as I used to. But I did happen to see this, and I was like, this is kind of bizarre. Dee Gordon, kind of once he retired, he did his own thing. You don't hear from him a lot, see him a lot. For him to go on this podcast and, just leave a little bit of breadcrumbs, maybe there's a financial incentive for him to, come on a podcast, tell it all, write a book. I don't know, but I want to know. And if there is, I'm subscribing to hear the rest of the story.
No doubt. I would love to get him on, AJ. We should send some text.
I've never won a batting title. It was because MLB called and threatened my family if I did. That was why.
I knew it.
It wasn't that I just couldn't do it. I wasn't good enough. It was just that, I don't know. I mean, come on. I didn't win the home run title ever because, I don't know, they threatened my kids. Come on. Like, I don't know. I just don't know. It just seems like sometimes things seem so bizarre that they're really true. So I don't know. But like, gosh, that's what KP said. Like, I want to get a hold of Dee and like try to actually get the rest of the story because now I'm intrigued by this because when he said it and I watched it, I was like, is he joking? Is he being sarcastic? But then he like dug in a little bit. So I don't know. We're gonna have to make some calls and see if we can come on here and try to finish the story out for us.
Yes, please. I would love to chat with him more about this. He has definitely been pretty remote since he stepped down from his playing days, but that is a wild, wild story to tell. Have you
And
guys
by the
ever?
way,
Yeah.
also, I want to say this, and we talked about this before the show. The argument with Dee Gordon and steroids is always like he doesn't look like he did steroids, right? But that doesn't matter. It wasn't about like getting bulky. I mean, yes. Now there were times where certain guys wanted to get huge and bulky and strong, but Bartolo Colon got popped for steroids. He didn't look like he was on steroids either, right? I mean, people would look at him and say he was on steroids, but that helped him throw 100 miles an hour his whole career. So you just never know. There's different types of steroids. Some are for recovery, some are for this or for that. So I'm not saying Dee Gordon did steroids or didn't steroids. I know he tested positive for steroids, so that's a pretty good indication he did them. But I'm just saying, like, just because that's always the excuse. Well, he doesn't. And even I think he says it in that. Like, I don't look like I did steroids, but that doesn't matter. I play with guys I know did steroids. They didn't look like they did steroids, but they did them.
Yeah, the other part too is you and I both know we've taken many, many, many drug tests in our life. Being a professional baseball player, you pee in the cup. They put sample A, sample B. You sign off everything. There's a seal on it. Who really knows what happens once they're shipped off? I mean, I'd like to think that there's a lot of integrity in the people that are doing the drug test, but it is not out of the realm of possibility that if this story is true, that they could contaminate his drug test, his urine sample. I mean, once you do it and you put it in that box and you sign your paperwork or sign that iPad, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind.
And by the way, let me just say this also. You mentioned that about all that, but if this was me, okay, and I know that I had never done anything, I would have been talking about this when it happened. I would have been suing people. I mean, I would have come out of the woodwork after this, right? So to come out 10 years later, that's why this is so interesting, weird timing, whatever you want to say. But I know this, KP. If I was a player and I was told I did steroids and I knew that I hadn't done anything, then I mean, I'm going on the offensive. I'm hiring lawyers. I'm suing the testing company. I'm suing MLB. I mean, I'm doing whatever I can to keep my reputation that I didn't do steroids if I knew deep down, not 10 years later coming out and saying, oh, man, they got me because I won the batting title.
Yeah, to that point, I do have a former teammate, a friend of mine that did test positive around that same time, and he's still fighting it till this day. I mean, that's how important he is. He fought it, when it happened, and I think it was 2016, and he's still continuing to fight it today because his reputation as a player, his name was destroyed by that positive test, and I know the kind of the behind the scenes details of what's going on. And to your point, if you knew deep down inside at your core that I did everything right and I didn't, take any steroids, you would be fighting it and it would be public knowledge.
Yeah, and I think the guy you're talking about has talked about it publicly,
Mm-hmm.
not anytime recently, but I think I can say the name because, I mean, yeah, I remember when all of that went down. Chris Colabello, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember all of that, and he's still pushing that. I think at some point, yeah, because there's stuff going on behind the scenes, we'll be able to talk to him more publicly about what's going on with that story. So let's finish with this. Have you ever heard anything close to this wild story-wise? Obviously, you don't have to name names if that's going to help, but whether it's on this topic or anything else, like conspiracy theories in baseball, I mean, you're fresher off the field, KP. Is there anything ever that guys throw around where they're like, oh, it'll never get out, but this is crazy? And again, it doesn't have to be names if that's going to help to conceal, but this one really stood out when we all saw it. We're like, whoa.
I mean, like I said, I think, a lot of these things are considered conspiracy until they are actually proven. And I mean, what came to mind is because they did the documentary on it, but the NBA refs kind of betting on the game. That's something probably players talked about in the locker room, like, man, this ref is terrible. I wonder if he has money on the game. And you're like, no way, that's a conspiracy. There's no way they'd ever do it. And then many years later, it comes out that they were betting on games and, shaving points and, giving free throw advantages to certain teams. So, I mean, that's the closest thing I could think of right now.
That's true. That's true. That's Tim Donaghy. All right. So we'll try to get Dee Strange-Gordon on. No promises.
Text has been sent.
Text has been sent. Text has been sent. That's the best that we can do. We send out texts. We see if they'll come on to talk it out. and tell their side of the story. I know he did already, but to get deeper into the detail, because there are a lot of people right now, some that believe him, some that don't. The ones that don't, I'd say a good portion of them have more questions. And if it is really true, you want to say it with your chest, then just give more details on it. Dee's a nice guy. I've interviewed him many times during his playing days. So we'll see what happens.
He was
All
one
right.
of my son's favorite that he met. My son, Dee was awesome to my son. He's from the Orlando area. So my son, when
Mhm.
my son was on the field, Dee was always one of his favorites. And this happened. My son's like, Dad, what? My son was like 9 years old. He's like, Dad, what? No way. I was like, I don't know, Austin. Sorry.
Yeah, well, maybe to be continued. I agree. Super nice guy, always very available, quiet, shy when he was playing, but more outspoken now. So we'll see. You know about the best place to buy, sell, trade, or look for that special card in your world. It's called Arena Club, and Eric Kratz just went through a little slab pack experience, and you went big. You went for the Ruby pack.
I love it. I love clicking on the Ruby pack and knowing that I'm going to open something that is going to be epic. I got a Cal Ripken Jr. autographed 1 of 42. I'm keeping it right now, but I would love to have it in my hand, so I might even have them send it to me. Already graded, everything taken care of for me.
That's right. You want to hang it up and stare at it all day, go for it. But if you're in there to get something else or to sell it away, you can do that. They've got the buyback program, or you can put it on the marketplace yourself. Tons of options. This is where the best cards live. It's arenaclub.com/foul and use the code foul for 20% off your first slab pack, or if you'd like to purchase a card, 20% off your first card purchase. Again, arenaclub.com/FOUL. Use code FOUL.